Hello dear students. In the last lecture we have discussed about the different characteristics which can be used for the proper classification and identification of microorganisms on the basis of the morphological characteristics, cultural characteristics, biochemical characteristics, physiological characteristics. Apart from that, we have also discussed the micromolecular approach, in which we have also discussed the composition of protein, composition of amino acids, composition of nucleic acids, fatty acid composition, 16 RNA sequencing. All these are advanced techniques we have also discussed, which can be helpful for the proper, in which we can properly arrange that particular organism in a particular hierarchy position in the classification system. Now, in this lecture, we will discuss about the another organization, or we can say organized matter on these microorganisms, how to distinguish with one another, or what type of test that organisms show when they are tested against that particular organisms. So with respect to that, one of the manual which can be normally used in microbiology for classification or identification of microorganisms is nothing but a Burgess Manual of Bacteriology, you can say. Market, or normally it can be available in a reference section of your library. In case of volume 1 to 4, there are 4 volumes of that book. So here in this diagram we can see these are nothing but the front cover page of that Burgess Manual of, it is nothing but a Burgess Manual of Systematic Bacteriology. Okay, it is blue in cover and it has 4 volumes. So it is a Systematic Bacteriology and it is edition of Burgess Manual. It is nothing but another manual of Burgess Manual, that is nothing but a Burgess Manual of Determinative Bacteriology. So for basic identification we can use that Determinative Bacteriology, and in case of another for detailed classification or different characteristics, we require Burgess Manual of Systematic Bacteriology. So before moving to, or as there are no advances in the field of classification and taxonomy, all the different characteristics are normally available in laptop. We can say by different advanced technique we can identify microorganisms on the basis of their genetic makeup or by using their 16 RNA sequencing. Apart from that, for laboratory level, when we try to identify that particular organism, including your dissertation conditions for your project, when you did not have any financial support, so in that case you use, or we can use that particular manual for the basic identification of microorganisms up to a genus level of, we could not reach towards the species or strain level of identification, but up to genus level we can use that manual for the identification. So it is Burgess Manual of Systematic Bacteriology. It is again a part of your syllabus. So in which microbiologists name the microorganisms by using binomial nomenclature system. That binomial nomenclature system we have already discussed in first or introductory part of this unit. That is, it is nothing but it was given use for the proper naming of that particular organism, in which this system was introduced by the Swedish botany, that is Charles Linnaeus, in 1753. So when we discuss about the classification basic introductory part, we have already discussed about the contribution of Charles Linnaeus and how that binomial nomenclature system can be helpful. According to binomial nomenclature system, the name of organism is always written in italic or underline or consists of, and it consists of 2 parts. So normally it is Latinized form, or we can say there we have to write the particular name of that genus and species, or binomial, it means it includes the name of genus and one is species name. And while writing the particular scientific name of that species, when we talk about the scientific name, so it is nothing but you have to proper characterize that particular organism with respect to the morphological, physiological, biochemical characteristics, and you have to put that particular organism in that particular position in classification system. On that basis, that organism given a particular genus name, that means so type of organism is belong to that particular or it shows characteristics similar to that of that type of organism. That's why it may be or it is a member of that particular group or that genus, so that we can give a particular name to the genus. Depending upon genus or different characteristics, we have to differentiate that organism along with their different distinctive characteristics among the genus, and on that basis we have to place that organism into or given its separate name, that is nothing but a species name. So it is nothing but a scientific naming of that particular organism on the basis of that all the characteristics you have studied in laboratory. So in this binomial nomenclature system, you are giving a particular scientific name and it is unique and worldwide accepted. Throughout world you can use that particular name and can be accepted, or you can when we talk about the Escherichia coli, in case of India, that similar characteristics for that organisms are used, or we can find in case of other part of any country in world. So in that case, these are nothing but a unique name which are given to that particular organism. So depending upon the location or area wise, strain modification or changes in the strain you can observe, but with respect to the species, the characteristics, basic characteristics are similar. So here when we write the binomial scientific name of that species, we have to write either in italic format. When we are talking about the computerization of that name, you have to write down that word, or we have to make it font styling as italic, that is slightly slanting title formatting of that name. You have to, apart from that, when we are writing that manually, you have to underline that particular name, or in case of computer, apart from italicization, we have to underline that name of that genus and species. And the binomial name, it consists of the two parts, that is the first part represents the name of the genus and it should be capitalized. That means genus name first word is, it should be in capital format, while the second part, that is second name, it represents the name of that particular species and it is written in small letters. Okay, that means it should not be capitalized, so that we can differentiate the genus name and species name. For example, here we have taken, it is nothing but Escherichia coli, it is a genus name, species name. Salmonella typhi, it is nothing but genus name, it is a species name. Mycobacterium tuberculosis, it is nothing but a genus and it is a species. Vibrio cholera, it is nothing but a genus and it is a species. So with respect to that binomial nomenclature system, we have to write down the scientific name of that organism. So here we will discuss about the what are the different major characteristics of Burgess manual. Burgess manual was first published in 1923 as Burgess Manual of Determinative Bacteriology, while its 8th edition was published in 1974. In first slide we have given a front page of that particular manual, that is systematic bacteriology, and one is determinative bacteriology. So it is nothing but a first edition of that Burgess manual, that is nothing but a determinative bacteriology, and which was published in 1923. In the 8th edition, bacteria were grouped into 19 sections on the basis of structure, genetic data, biochemical characteristics, nutritional characteristics, staining techniques or staining properties you can say, and ecological characteristics. So it is nothing but a, we have already discussed in determinative manual, or you can say in Burgess Manual of Determinative Bacteriology, basic differentiating characteristics were used, and it is nothing but one book of that particular determinative bacteriology. But as more advances are carried out in the field of microbiology, and microorganisms are differentiated with one another with respect to their structural characteristics, genetical data, we can say biochemical characteristics, nutritional requirement or metabolic characteristics, and their staining properties. As different techniques are developed, the techniques are used, and on that basis microorganisms are again distinguished with one another, and for that all those data are collectively submitted or published in the form of 19 sections. So for that they have prepared 4 volumes of that book. In 1984, the bacterial classification system was revised and published with the name, that is Burgess Manual of Systematic Bacteriology. So determinative bacteriology is nothing but a one it is only one volume. It includes all this data which was reported previously. As the advances in microbiology are carried out, different techniques have employed, and different microbial species have identified. With respect to that there is a large data, and that to publish that particular data, they required or they published that collected data into 4 volumes. So the first edition was published with 4 volumes, that is volume first in 1984, volume second that is 1984, 1986, third volume that is in 1989, and fourth volume in 1991. So as part of determinative bacteriology, the vast data is published with respect to that 4 volume, and it is nothing but called as Burgess Manual of Systematic Bacteriology, in which microorganisms are systematically classified and arranged with respect to their similar characteristics and dissimilar characteristics. So in that properly, when we go through the Burgess Manual, we can observe particular group-wise organization of organism we can observe. Apart from that, when we talk about a particular genus or group of organism, the proper classification system has been given. On that basis, if that group include different group of organisms, basically they are organized or classified with respect to their similarity character, dissimilar characteristics, and different tables are given. On that basis, species of similar genus are given or arranged in that table. Suppose we have taken a Bacillus genus, it has 5 different species or 10 different or 20 different species. So it is nothing but a Bacillus, and each species, their similar and cumulative biochemical characteristics are considered or given in that particular table format, and their positive negative report are write down or collected in the Burgess Manual of Systematic Bacteriology. So by using that particular table of content of that table, we can differentiate or we can match our data with that particular reported data, and on that basis we can determine or we can identify up to a genus level whether that organism is belong to a particular genus or species. Or if we have observed isolated unknown species which we didn't have any information about that organism, so using that Burgess Manual we can report whether our organism is previously reported or our organism shows similar characteristics to that of the reported data of Burgess Manual. So for comparison we can also use Burgess Manual, or it can be helpful for the proper systematic classification and identification of the particular organism which can be used or isolated in microbiological laboratory. It can be helpful for your dissertation purpose or in your microbiological project for classification or for identification of your organism of your interest. So according to the first edition, prokaryote is nothing but prokaryote, these are nothing but the microorganisms. They are divided into 4 divisions and several classes, 7 classes, and this classification was based on presence or absence of the cell wall and composition of the cell. So when we discuss or talk about the organisms, basically they are grouped into gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria, and their classification or that grouping is completely based on the presence or composition of the cell wall. So it is a basic technique, that is gram staining. On that basis, that organisms are grouped into 4 divisions and 7 classes on the basis of their presence and absence of their cell wall, or you can say it is nothing but a cell wall composition. So here it is nothing but a diagrammatic representation of the how the prokaryotic organisms are grouped into different divisions and classes. So here it is nothing but a prokaryotes. They are grouped into 4 divisions, that is nothing but a Gracilicutes, Firmicutes, Phenidicutes, and Menisocutes. So these are nothing but the main title of that division, and each division has a characteristic, can say characteristic features, or we can say we can distinguish that Gracilicutes from Firmicutes on the basis of the cell wall composition or presence or absence of the cell wall. They are grouped into 4 groups, that is Gracilicutes, Firmicutes, Phenidicutes, and Menisocutes. So these are nothing but the 4 divisions which are grouped at different organisms on the presence or absence of the cell wall. Again, that Basilicutes, it is again classified. Here we are taking only Basilicutes. These are also classified into different groups. Another classes, that is Scotobacteria, Anoxyphotobacteria, Oxyphotobacteria. These are nothing but their metabolic process, we can say, or with respect to their oxygen requirement, they are again classified into different class. So it is nothing but Scotobacteria, Anoxyphotobacteria and Oxyphotobacteria, how their metabolic processes are carried out. So here, now the Scotobacteria is again classified on the basis of the family. They are nothing but Enterobacteriaceae, Vibrioaceae, Pasteuriaceae. So these are nothing but the name of families on which they are grouped into different family. Now that family member from that particular Enterobacteriaceae are grouped into different genus, or it is nothing but a group of organisms or a group of genus which shows common characteristics like Enterobacteriaceae family. These are nothing but the common group of organisms which show the characteristics related to the Scotobacteria. These are nothing but a characteristic cumulative group of organisms which are included into the Basilicutes divisions of Burgess member. So in this genus which belong to the Enterobacteriaceae family, these are nothing but the Escherichia, it is nothing but Escherichia coli, or these are the group of organisms which are normally present in the or included into enteric group of organisms or normally present in the intestine. So these are nothing but the Escherichia. Normally we can use the group of organisms, indicative organism, or we can say representative member of that group is nothing but the Escherichia coli, Shigella, Enterobacter, Salmonella, Serratia, Citrobacter, Proteus and Klebsiella. These are nothing but the genus which are included into family Enterobacteriaceae. So here basically the basic characteristics, all these groups show the common characteristics related to the Enterobacteriaceae family, but when we go through the species level identification or genus level identification, these are again differentiated with one another with respect to their morphological characteristics, cultural characteristics, physiological characteristics. So these are either they are grouped into the Enterobacteriaceae family, but with respect to the different characteristics, they are distinct with one another. Now the genus are again classified into species. So here Shigella, it is nothing but the name of genus, and Shigella dysentery, it is a positive agent of dysentery for human being. So it is a member of that Enterobacteriaceae family, or we can say member of Scotobacteria class, or it is nothing but a member of Basilicutes division. Shigella flexneri, Shigella buoyanti, Shigella soni. So these are nothing but the different species of that genus. So when we discuss about the particular or identify particular species, we basically have a basic morphological and cultural characteristic of the organism. So we have to match particular organism with respect to whether that belong. We didn't know any idea about for which group of organism may belong. So on the basis, when we observe their morphological characteristics, that is cell wall composition, we can say it is gram-positive or gram-negative bacteria, or then it match with the Shigella group of organisms or Enterobacteriaceae. So on that, if we collected particular information about that organism, we can easily arrange or group that organism by using that protocol, which can be already published by the Burgess manual, and we can take help of that particular manual for the proper organization and classification of that organism with respect to their characteristics which can be used. So it is nothing but a basic idea about Burgess manual of systematic bacteriology. So it is nothing but vast data about microorganisms on which they are already reported about the basic or we can say sometimes it is nothing but a detailed account of particular organism with respect to their morphological cultural characteristics, where it was reported previously first time, and who is the inventor of that organism, who have reported that organism first time. So it is all are reported in Burgess manual. So it is nothing but a we can say it is a masterpiece for microbiology. So it is all about the Burgess manual. Next part we will discuss in next lecture.